The more I learn about myself, the more I understand you, as Hercule Poirot once said. What a man! What an imagination! Come with me as we scent Murder on the Orient Express, Evil Under the Sun, Death on the Nile, and see who really did it.
Even in those days, she could always throw her legs up in the air, higher than any of us, and wider.
Hi, I'm Gabby, and welcome back to another edition of The Fragrantician, where fun meets frivolity, where conventionality goes out the door, and if you're my kind of girl or guy or whoever, then you know what to do. So without further ado, let's get into the video and see who really did do it. So today's video is all about scenting my 3 favourite films from Agatha Christie and Albert Finney and Peter Ustinov in Murder on the Orient Express, Death on the Nile, and Evil Under the Sun. What scents do you think would be paired with what and who? Let's find out. And my cat is trying to get up on me, so he's going to get on my lap. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. So, do you like the hair? Yes, it's all mine. It's not a wig. I decided to go for something different. Give us a like if you love it. And if you don't, still give us a like because it makes me happy. Or a dislike. Who cares? What scent first would Hercule Poirot wear? I'm talking about, well, whoever the character is, whether it's Albert Finney, Peter Ustinov, one for me. Well, there's only 2, Albert Finney and Peter Ustinov. What would Hercule Poirot wear? Hercule Poirot is quite a complex, diverse man. He was slightly cunning, shrewd, intelligent, articulate. He had to be, didn't he? Agatha Christie made him an icon. And he portrayed himself, as Albert Finney, he portrayed himself, I think, as the Belgian sleuth. Peter Ustinov portrayed him with a little bit more humour, I think. That name still escapes me. I'll put his name down below, who played the recent Hercule Poirot. But I think he would wear this fragrance because he was and is a strong character. And I'm scenting him Le Troisième Homme de Caron, The Third Man by Caron. Now, this is a scent my husband wears. This is a scent that I dare not wear. To me, it is a strong, vintage, old-fashioned style of scent that some people just will not like. But on him, it smells divine. He is my Hercule Poirot. He has yet to solve the mystery of me, I think. But he wears this. Hercule Poirot wears this while I just scratch my face with my long tail on. It is of a vintage era. It is of that 1930s era that he was in. Hercule Poirot, you could not underestimate him. He had lovely quotes and lovely sayings, and he was an enigma himself, I think. And I think he would wear this because it's just him. It's classic, it's vintage, it's of that epoch, that era, and I think it just suits him magnificently. He does not hold any prisoners, but he has a caring heart. And this scent, although when you sniff it up to your nose, you could recoil, but in the air, it is absolutely stunning and magical. Le Troisième Homme de Caron Hercule Poirot. So, that aside, let's go to the first film. Let's go to Murder on the Orient Express, which I love. Came out in 1974. I was too young to see it at the cinema, but I've seen it on TV many times. And I'm going to send Harriet Hubbard. Now, what would Harriet Hubbard wear? Harriet Hubbard, played by Lauren Bacall, she would normally, her signature scent was L'Ombre dans l'eau by Diptyque, which came out in the early 80s. She also wore, as a person herself, by Paco Rabanne, Calandre, I think. But I think for her, I think for Harriet Hubbard, I'm doing this absolutely off the cuff with a selection of fragrances that I have here. I think that Harriet Hubbard, she would wear Rogue, Jasmine Antique. Yes, it is a vintage fragrance. Harriet Hubbard in the film, she portrays herself as this woman who has been married several times. If you've not seen the film, Sacre Bleu, you do need to see it. Mon Dieu, you definitely need to see it. Everyone in the film, in most Agatha Christie films, Hercule Poirot films, appear not what they are meant to be. And I won't give shall I give the plot scene away? It is a masterpiece. Hercule Poirot comes up with two solutions. Either somebody came aboard and killed Richard Widmark, who played the horrible man who slain Daisy, or it could be all of them. He chose the first solution, the best solution. Harriet Hubbard, oh yeah, she would wear this. This is an antique jasmine. This is jasmine to the max. It's animalic. It's what she would wear, wearing her fur stoles, swishing all of the servants, all of the, the people in the bazaar, trying to sell her something as she walks along in Zagreb, or wherever it was. They caught the Orient Express, and she boards the Orient Express and looks. Oh, Hercule Poirot is on, as he catches a whiff of her Rogue Jasmine Antique. She is the mother of the granddaughter that was slain several years before. She plans the murder. She is the mastermind of the murder. She is that wicked woman. But, on the other hand, was the murder justified? Let's talk about the scent itself a bit more. Rogue is a scent not for the faint of heart. It is strong presence. It has a mighty presence, and it's one of the strongest scents that I own. It's all centered around jasmine, has a touch of vanilla, but mostly it's this indolic jasmine, this flower that is in full bloom, that smells so sweet, yet so pungent, yet so fierce, yet so enigmatic. That's what she would wear. Now, Jacqueline Bisset is also in the film, and she plays the daughter, of which we don't know till the end, of Lauren Bacall, the sister of her other sister's baby that was slain, Daisy. And I think I would pair this scent with her, because for me, it's a pretty scent. She had that lovely wavy hairstyle. She had a bit of flamboyance to her, but ultimately she was a very beautiful, well put together character in the film as a supporting actress. She would wear Joy by Jean Patou. I think it's a beautiful rose fragrance. It's all centered around the rose. Now, some people don't like it. Some people would say that this scent it repulses them. But I think ultimately it's a beautiful rose scent. It has some animalic facets to it. I have a reformulated version here. But it is of that time. Not all of these scents are of that time, but this one and the previous one, although it's much more later, it's kind of a scent of that time. It evokes what some would say the old-fashioned rose, and I don't care. Old-fashioned, démodé, as we say in French. Démodé, what's démodé? What's old-fashioned? It's just of that time, of a time capsule. Joy by Jean Patou. This is a scent that Jacqueline Bisset would wear in Murder on the Orient Express. Now, let's enter royalty in Murder on the Orient Express. Finally, Dame Wendy Hiller. Regal. She played a princess, Princess Natalia, who was caught out by her first initial, which looks like a H, but in the Russian alphabet, it's an N. She would wear a very, very royal scent. Now, this is a celebrity scent, but by no means is it a celebrity scent. It's a scent in itself. It is, you're going to laugh at this, Fairy Dust by Paris Hilton, because, I mean, the bottle itself is very, very old school, but it is, some would say, a grandmother would wear. And who cares? She was a very glamorous princess. It's got tuberoses, it's very floral, it's very dense and thick, and again, some people would repel from this. And then there are others like myself, and you know who you are, you would love this and think, yes, Dame Wendy Hiller would be wearing this, while she would be letting Hercule Poirot kiss her hand. Very, very demure, very, very staunch, old school. Fairy Dust by Paris Hilton. Let's move on to Death on the Nile. Came out a few years later, 1978. Now, it had a stellar cast of people in it. Now, the first person I'm going to send is actually Jacqueline de Belfort, Mia Farrow. She is the woman scorn with her lover. She is the murderess. She shoots Lynette Ridgway. Well, actually, she doesn't. Her husband shoots Lynette Ridgway. But then she goes on to kill Salome Otterborn and kill Louise Bourget, the maid. But she would wear, I think, this scent in particular. Fragonard. It's a killer scent, and it's a dupe of Anaïs Anaïs or Ana by Cacharel. Smells exactly the same, 99.9% the same. It is a scent not for a wallflower. She was not a wallflower. She was a crack shot, as she said. Her father taught her to be a crack shot, and she could kill, as she did. She was ruthless. She was cunning and shrewd, and she would wear this while she was sipping the gin or the scotch or the brandy. It's a floral bouquet, but it has this vintage vibe, and Fragonard is a vintage fragrance house. Love the bottle, love the design. It's just called Fragonard. Quite hard to find now, but you can still find it. And if you love chypre florals, if you love heavy, dense florals with galbanum and patchouli and florals, and are green and murderous, this is the scent. This is a murderous scent. It really is. It's a murderous floral of a scent. Fragonard, Jacqueline de Belfort, played by Mia Farrow, she would wear this. Now let's scent Salome Otterborn, played by Angela Lansbury. She was outrageous. Oh, would you tango with me, Hercule Poirot? She literally was. She was one of those women that was ahead of her time, writing books that the leading lending libraries would not publish because she spoke the truth about men and women and sex. So she would wear her namesake, Salome. It was a given choice. It was, yes, she was full of her own ego. So why would she not wear Salome? Because she had an ego bigger than the Nile. Ultimately, she was killed in it because she found out who killed Louise Bourget, the maid. Mia Farrow, Jacqueline de Belfort. She was there ready. And then Jacqueline de Belfort shot her straight through the head at point blank, dropped the gun, ran off, and she was there laid slain, wearing her namesake, Salome. Let's face it, she had such a presence in the film, even though she was a supporting actress. Angela Lansbury could play many facets, many roles, from that to Murder, She Wrote. She would not be wearing Salome in Murder, She Wrote. Oh no, she would be wearing something much, much simpler. Maybe White Linen by Estee Lauder, although that isn't a simple fragrance. Believe you me, it isn't. But it was at the time. But yes, I think Salome, for her, as her character, it had the abundance of all of those deep, dark, secretive facets that a scent truly has. It's cumin, it's florals, it's divine, Salome. And lastly, who would we send but Bette Davis in Death on the Nile? Yes, Bette Davis herself, she was getting on at the time, she was in her 70s, I think, when the film was made. And I think she would be one of those people that you would not mess with. She would wear her own scent on film. And she would wear a tuberose scent. And I'm going with this classic scent, although it's much more modern, Tuberose by Monotherm. This is a scent that she wore herself as a signature. And I think because she was one of those that she was an old school, staunch, classic actress that was quite ahead of her time. You know, she starred in many films. I loved her in the film, The Anniversary, with the eye patch. If you've not seen that film, you must see that film. But in Death on the Nile, she plays a woman that wants those she wants that pearl necklace, and she would kill for it probably. She didn't, but she did steal the pearl necklace from the dead woman's neck. Yes, she did. And she was wearing deadly tuberose. Deadly tuberose. I think this has good sillage, good projection, good longevity for a very inexpensive fragrance. She was a woman not to be trifled with. And in the film, she put Maggie Smith in her place, her servant. Yes. And it was she had quite a good sense of humour as well. And she could, as my grandmother would say, you know, it would take some broad to wear that fragrance. She was that broad, a tuberose scent. And lastly, let's move on to Evil Under the Sun. Actually, I think it's one of my most, if not the most, it's my most favourite film, and it's always overlooked. It came out in 1982, had a host of stars, based on an island that was run on this hotel that was run by Maggie Smith herself. What would Maggie Smith wear in that film? Very, very 1930s. I think she would have worn this scent because she was quite ahead of her time. She had her own business. She had the hotel business. It was left to her. And I think she would wear Portrayal by Amouage. It is a jasmine scent with tobacco. Again, it's very much of that Belle Epoque, of that Art Deco era in the 1930s. She, in the film, the outfits in the film are lovely. In all three films, the costumes, the cinematography, everything seemed more real. There wasn't... I've seen the latest Death on the Nile film, and I've also seen the latest Murder on the Orient Express film. They're good, but they just have a bit of that lackluster that the films of the 70s and 80s that were made were compared to. It seemed more, everything is filtered and everything is, in any film nowadays, is not real, not authentic. It's done with computerized images now. Then they only had the studio to work on. They had a studio to work on, but when they were on an outdoors scene, they had to deal with many, many things that today's films can just produce en masse. So it would take them longer to film. But anyway, back to Amouage. I'm digressing. Amouage portrayal, this beautiful tobacco scent that it's almost of this sweet Cravenade tobacco that is so beautiful, combined with the jasmine, which gives it this sweetness. You like Maggie Smith. You learn to love Maggie Smith, who plays Daphne Carter in Evil Under the Sun. She is that fun, gregarious woman who eventually, I hope, wins Kenneth Marshall's heart in that film. Because let's face it, Kenneth Marshall is married to the woman that is killed in the film, who is Arlena Marshall, played by Diana Rigg. She is the woman that nobody likes her. She's on her third husband now. You know, she was Arlena Stewart, now she's Arlena Marshall. There's a lovely line in this that is played by Sylvia Miles. It's played by Sylvia Miles. And she looks at her from a distance as the boat is drawing up the island. And she says, well, Arlena Marshall, she said, she must be being dressed by Woolworths nowadays. A lot of humour in the film, a lot of one-liners. Oh, you know, have a sausage, darling. Yes, it's, oh, I'm late to arrive. Yes, Diana Rigg says that as she arrives, the last to arrive at the party, and Maggie Smith just says to her, oh, never mind, have a sausage, darling. There's this frisson, there's this friction between them. And Diana Rigg ultimately gets killed. She rebuffs Sylvia Miles and James Mason. They want her to star in a play. She rebuffs that. She rebuffs Roddy McDowall, who wants to write a book about her. Even her own stepdaughter, who's about 12 years old, played by Emily Horne, does not like her. Nobody likes her. She is a character that is not liked at all. And she's laying there on the beach with this big sun hat on her. And she would be wearing, and I don't have the scent, and I would love the scent so much. I need to get the scent. I need to get it. It's on my wish list. I wanted to choose Sex and the Sea Neroli because it encompasses her. But I will choose Sex and the Sea by Francesca Bianchi because it is this beautiful pineapple, animalic, immortelle, everlasting flower scent. She thinks she's one of these people that is everlasting. Alas, she is killed. And there's a line actually in the film said by Hercule Poirot where he smells her scent and he says, oh, it's from the grotto, the cave where she's killed outside. And he says, ah, le souffle de mer, the breath of the sea. So yes, I imagine that maybe Francesca evoked an image from that and put it in her scent. She probably didn't, but I'm hoping she did. Le souffle de mer, the breath of the sea. It has this breath of the sea, the Sex and the Sea scent. But I think it's an all year round scent. It's not a summer scent. All of her scents are all year round. Even Liberty Neroli, I think, is an all year round scent. But it's this magical, beautiful, sexy, sultry, as she's stroking her lover's hand, played by Nicholas Clay. She is a prowess. She is on the prowl, and she seduces her lover enigmatically, wearing Sex and the Sea. This immortelle, I love immortelle in it. I love the immortelle in it. I still need to get it, because to some it has this warm, well, on me it has this warm, kind of like almost maple syrup kind of like scent to it. Quite sweet, a little bit savoury as well, because it's herbaceous. And I think, I would hope that these immortelle flowers are growing on this Greek island that they are in. Although it's actually filmed in Mallorca, where they actually film Evil Under the Sun. And ultimately, she is killed by her lover, Nicholas Clay, and his accomplice, who is Christine Redfern, played by none than herself, Jane Birkin. We all know and love Jane Birkin, who recently passed, sadly. She was actually in Death on the Nile, and I was going to scent her, but I thought, no, I'm going to scent her in this film. Now, Christine Redfern is the actress who, it looks demure, and she's fragile, and she's frail, and she is married to Patrick Redfern, who kills Diana Rigg, who kills Alina Marshall, and she is his accomplice. Although he did the killing, she had the brains, I would hope, behind how it was all done and staged, and between them they created the stage set perfectly. To look at her, she was like, oh, Patrick, you're going after Alina Marshall. Oh, I'm the frail wife, but I want it to be me. And she is on the sidelines, and she appears to be, oh, you feel sorry for her. Ultimately, I would pair her with this sweet, innocent scent, because it looks from that era. But there's another second scent I'm going to scent her. This is Scarlet by Cacharel, now sadly discontinued. But what a beautiful Belle Epoque bottle. It is. Some people will think, oh God, I look so old-fashioned and hideous. Hello? Yes. It might look hideous, but she would wear this. It's sweet. It's like a sweet lemon tea mixed with jasmine and some. It's so delicate, and it's wonderful. It's a scent that I just think Christine Redfern would just wear as her sweet, frail, fragile self, that puts it out there in the film, that they just want her to be, they want to feel sorry for her. Oh, she suffers from vertigo. Hell no, she doesn't suffer from vertigo when she's looking over the cliff. No, but she would want to present herself wearing this, because it is a sweet, innocent, ethereal scent. However, I only have a sample of this, which I do want to get a full-size bottle of, because it is deathly. Yeah, it's very strong, very beastly, and this represents her in a nutshell. It's a dupe of, I can't believe my cat was just behind me then. Wait, did you get up there? Yes, you're a naughty boy, aren't you? Anyway, back to the scent. It's by the Perfume Parlour, and it is 1986 is the number. It's called French Name, which is a dupe of Cocaine by Frank Boclet. Now, I could have chosen Tuberose Criminelle for this lady, but I decided not to. When she's found out that she is the accomplice, she flicks the switch murderous to the T, and she would be wearing this, because it is, I'm going to spray just a little bit on my hand. All right, I'm not going to spray a little bit. I've sprayed 2 sprays of that, and already it's wafting up. It has a little bit of sweetness in there, which I absolutely actually do love, from this caramel accord, but it's backed up with this deathly, again, white floral tuberose scent that is out of this world, that is atomic. She turns her head. She's wearing this lovely big hat. She walks down the stairs and says, "Why pay Patrick? They've done nothing but insult us." Yes, she would then be wearing this because it is, who knows, I might actually get the real scent. I've not smelt the real scent. If this is what the real scent is about, I don't know. But 1986 is the number, Cocaine by Frank Boclet. It has this sweet caramel accord. It opens up and it's pungent. Dries down, it goes a little bit sweeter, but it still makes a presence nonetheless. This is her real character. She is the one that knocks Arlena Marshall over the head, dupes everybody. Well, it's a perfume dupe. She dupes everybody, and she thinks she has it, but ultimately they get caught, and then the music at the end by Cole Porter, as it's playing as the credits roll, is just amazing. And yeah, she's wearing this thinking, well, they're going to take me down, at least let me wear 1986 by Perfume Parlor House. You know, at least let me wear this deathly but sweet tuberose scent. Oh, it's just beautiful in a murderous way. So, Christine Redfern would wear French Name by Perfume Parlor, Cocaine by Frank Boclet, because let's face it, Cocaine, the name, Patrick probably can't get enough of her. So did you enjoy that video? But there's still one more to come. I'm going to scent Agatha Christie herself with a scent that actually, the first one that came to my mind when I looked at my collection, and I thought, yeah, she is this, and she is this in a bottle. I'm scenting Agatha Christie with Spell 125 by Papillon Perfumery. It is this silvery, as she's writing with the pen, the thoughts go through her mind. She was a very multifaceted person. She could inject humour, she could inject a bit of taboo, she could inject a bit of, well, she injected a lot of death. She injected a lot of that in her books. And I think Agatha Christie would wear this because it has this beautiful frankincense in it, which is just almost comforting. And I think it's also just her. It smells of, again, of the Belle Epoque of that era. Liz makes perfumes that are not of this era, although it's a modern fragrance in an era that has been lived and seen through her eyes somehow, because she is one of those souls that has lived that. Her vibration is very much placed on different levels, I think. And I think this scent is very dark but light, has multifacets to it. And Agatha Christie, she went missing in 1926. She wanted to get away. And I know I'm digressing now, but I think just Spell 125 is a scent that sums up Agatha Christie if she would wear a scent. Who knows what she wore? Maybe she wore nothing. She was a woman, again, that was ahead of her time. And I think it would be an honour if she bought this scent, Spell 125 by Papillon Perfumery. Lastly, I think Hercule Poirot did believe in love. And he actually said at the end of Death on the Nile, La grande ambition des femmes est d'inspirer l'amour. The great ambition of women is to inspire love. And on that note, I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.